So yesterday was day 112 of protests in the city of Elizabeth City that is being held hostage by the county of Pasquotank County over the police shooting of Andrew Brown Jr. from April 21st, 2021. We have been protesting for 112 days straight, and that was yesterday, and today will be day 113. But we did another sidewalk demonstration through downtown Elizabeth City, and I had the megaphone, and I was pretty loud. And so again, we've been going through downtown Elizabeth City. For those of you that don't know much about Elizabeth City, downtown is a relatively small area. This is a small city, so like downtown is usually pretty densely populated. We have a lot of people that will do the shopping or whatever that they do. They will go into restaurants and they will do all that kind of stuff downtown. And so it's a very concentrated area for the population of Elizabeth City. And so when we're protesting and we go down the sidewalks, they can't call the cops, right? Because we're not in the middle of the street. We're not impeding traffic, even though it's our First Amendment right. That being said, we're on the sidewalks, we're being loud, we're being proud, and we're chanting for justice. And so as you can see, we went all the way through downtown Elizabeth City, and we were looking at the art exhibits, and then we continued going downtown. And so, all in all, it was a good demonstration. I mean, again, we're kind of just like making sure that people understand that the protest movement is not dying. We're still here. Even if there's only 2 people, even if there's only 3 people, we're still going to be here. And that's really the most important aspect, is people need to be constantly reminded that a father was gunned down in a school zone by police, and they've gotten a raise. They got more money. They got paid to kill someone. Hired assassins got paid to murder a father of 7 children in a school zone. I want to remind people of the details here. A stray bullet entered a neighboring house. But for the grace of God, that neighbor could have been sitting in a chair and would have been gotten shot and killed, and no one would have known. Would they have done anything to the officers if a neighbor was shot and killed too? I want to remind everyone, when Breonna Taylor was murdered in Kentucky, the only charge that went against any of the shooting officers was a charge for an officer who missed. They failed to kill Breonna Taylor, and they got charged. The officers who killed Breonna Taylor, job well done. Good shit. But the officer that missed got charged. What did they get charged for? Wanton endangerment, because the bullet went through the wall and into a neighboring apartment. That didn't happen here with the story of Andrew Brown Jr. An officer that shot into a neighboring house, not even an apartment, a neighboring house. Which is a lot harder to do, by the way. They're off scot-free. It's difficult to explain just how fucking ridiculous this whole situation is. Every time I sit here and I talk about this story every single day, I get more and more pissed the fuck off, because this shit is ridiculous. And the entire United States Senate, 95 votes out of 100 in the U.S. Senate, voted to add 100,000 more cops. 100,000 more cops. That's like a 14% increase in the U.S. police force. The day after Derek Chauvin was convicted of murder was when Andrew Brown Jr. was shot and killed. And no one cares. No one gives a fuck. All the liberals stopped caring. They stopped giving a flying fuck. Oh, remember Nancy Pelosi's speech? Remember? Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing yourselves so that your killer could get justice. Remember that? Nancy Pelosi thanked George Floyd for being murdered. And now the Democratic Party is just full stop. Oh, an amendment by Josh Hawley, a fascist, whose entire purpose in the Senate is to restrict the rights of minorities? Well, let's vote for them. Let's give them their cop increase. Give them positive press, because we love fascism in the Democratic Party. We love fascism in the Republican Party. This is the United States of fascism, folks. Cops can gun people down in school zones in broad daylight, shooting into neighboring houses that had nothing to do with anything, and they get away with it. This is the United States of America. Police are a militant, occupying force, like the Gestapo in Nazi Germany. What is the difference? Tell me what the difference is. I don't see a difference. I just also want to reiterate that yes, it is amazing that a small town like Elizabeth City is capable of having this wonderful, sustained movement for such a long period of time. 112 days of marching. What? What? That is unheard of! No national news whatsoever. The only national media was, oh, look, another black man got killed. Wow. Looky. Next. That's all the national media cares about. They don't care about the protest movement. They don't care about the people affected. They don't care about the family. They don't care about the neighbors. They don't care about the community that's been affected by this. They don't give a shit. They don't give a fuck. All they care about is their headline. Oh, look, breaking news. Black man gets shot. Let's sell that to our advertisers. Meanwhile, protests going on for 112 days in a row? Whatever. Who cares? And this is why I'm out here every day. Because this shit is fucking important. We need to understand that this shit is fucking important. The fact that a small town is capable and willing and actively doing something like this is something that needs to be blasted, not just nationally, but internationally. Everyone in the world needs to know how the city of Elizabeth City is reacting to this situation. This is a blueprint. This tells you that stuff like this is possible. A community can protest for 100+ days in a row. And what do they get? What do they get? What do we get? Nothing. We got nothing, folks. The killers got more money. They got a raise. The assassins, the hitmen, got a raise. But hey, they painted Black Lives Matter on the street, so huge win. Meanwhile, they're going to add a lot more cops. I covered this story on my channel a couple days ago. The Elizabeth City Police Department is going to be begging the Department of Justice for more police funding. And the Senate just passed an amendment to have even more police funding. So the Elizabeth City Police Department, which, by the way, stopped covering protests and protecting protesters. Reminder, last week, the chief of police, Eddie Buffalo, saw a car hit and run a protester. Didn't do anything, and then denied that he even saw it. I have him on camera right over there. He denied that he saw it. The chief of police saw a hit and run and did nothing. And now they're going to be begging for more cops. And the Senate just voted to give them even more cops than they were begging for. The Pasquotank County Sheriff Department got a raise. The assassins got a raise for killing Andrew Brown. They got bonus points for shooting into a neighboring house. They would have probably gotten even more money if they actually killed the neighbor. What the fuck is going on in this country, folks? I'm sorry. Like, this is like... what is going on here? The national media, the international media cares when people get killed. They don't give a shit about the reaction. Again, they covered the fuck out of the George Floyd uprising. Why? Because of the rioting and looting. because they could make protesters look bad. The reason why national media isn't covering the protests for Andrew Brown is because there is no rioting and there is no looting and there is no way to make the protesters look bad. And so if you can't make the protesters look bad, you just pretend they don't exist. That is the motive for why national media is not covering these protests. It's because there is nothing to do to make the protesters look bad. And that is why we're out here every single day. And it's, again, extremely important that we're out here every single day. And again, I just want to say, the community power and strength that it requires to show up every single day is impeccable and amazing. And I'm just extremely grateful to be a part of this movement. And people need to know what's going on in Elizabeth City. It needs to be known what is happening in Elizabeth City. It is a requirement that people know what's happening in Elizabeth City. People need to know you protest peacefully for 112 days in a row and you get nothing. The media doesn't give you a trophy. Oh, you protested peacefully. Good job. When you riot and loot, whatever that means, I don't know what rioting and looting means. We've been declared rioters, so whatever that means. When you break a window, bad dog, bad dog. When you protest the right way, you don't even get called a good dog. You just get ignored. This is how the fucking United States of America works. And it's fucking despicable.